If you think phone chips are already fast enough, this news might surprise you. TSMC is already getting ready for something even smaller and more powerful. The company is working on its new 1.4 nanometer chip technology, even before its 2 nanometer chips have fully entered the market. It shows just how fast the chip industry is moving. According to the latest report, TSMC is not facing any major problems with its new 1.4 nanometer process. That is a really big deal, because making smaller chips is never easy. Every new generation becomes harder to build. Even a tiny mistake can slow everything down. But this time, things seem to be going smoothly. TSMC is building its first factory for this new technology in Taiwan. The factory is expected to be finished around April 2027. After that, the company plans to start pilot production in the third quarter of 2027. Now, what does pilot production mean? It simply means TSMC will start making small numbers of these chips to test everything. They want to make sure the process works perfectly before making millions of chips. If everything goes as planned, full mass production will begin in 2028. That means companies around the world could start using these powerful chips not long after. And here's something interesting. TSMC is not building just one factory. The company is planning 4 factories for its 1.4 nanometer technology. That is a huge investment. Reports say TSMC has already put about $49 billion into this project. Yes, billion. That shows how confident the company is. Even though building these factories costs a fortune, each one could make around $16 billion every year. So in the long run, this investment could pay off in a very big way. Now, you're probably wondering who will use these chips first. If you've been following the tech world, the answer will not surprise you. Apple. Apple has worked closely with TSMC for many years. Reports say Apple wants to be the first company to use this new 1.4 nanometer technology. The expected chip is called the A22 Pro. If that happens, Apple could once again launch some of the fastest smartphone chips in the world. But why is Apple always interested in these smaller chips? The answer is actually simple. Smaller chips usually bring better performance. They can run faster, they use less power, they create less heat, and they can also help improve battery life. So your phone becomes more powerful without draining the battery quickly. That's exactly what every smartphone user wants: better speed, longer battery life, less heating, and smoother performance. That's why companies keep chasing smaller and smaller chip technology. But Apple is not the only customer TSMC has. There are many other companies waiting in line, especially now that artificial intelligence is growing so fast. AI needs very powerful chips. From smartphones to laptops to servers, everyone wants faster processors. That creates one big problem: supply. There are simply not enough advanced chips for everyone. Apple knows this. That is why the company wants to move quickly from 2 nanometers to 1.4 nanometers in just a couple of years. It wants to stay ahead before demand becomes even bigger. Now, let's talk about Samsung. A few years ago, Samsung was often seen as TSMC's biggest rival in chip manufacturing. Sometimes Samsung was even first to announce new manufacturing technology. But things have changed. Right now, TSMC seems to be leading the race. Samsung is still working on improving its 2 nanometer production. One of its biggest challenges has been getting good production yields. That simply means making enough working chips without wasting too many defective ones. Making advanced chips is incredibly difficult. Even if you know how to build them, producing millions of perfect chips is another challenge. Samsung has been focusing on solving those problems first. Because of that, its own 1.4 nanometer technology is expected to arrive later than TSMC's. Reports suggest Samsung could be about 1 year behind. That may not sound like much, but in the chip industry, 1 year is a very long time. Technology moves incredibly fast. Still, Samsung is not giving up. The company knows it cannot stay behind forever. It also sees companies like Intel pushing towards smaller chip technology. And with Apple showing strong interest in these next-generation chips, Samsung will definitely want to compete again. So the race is far from over. This competition is actually good news for all of us. When companies compete, technology improves faster. Phones become better, laptops become faster, battery life gets longer, and we all enjoy better devices. The next few years could be very exciting. We haven't even fully entered the 2-nanometer era yet, but companies are already planning for 1.4 nanometers. That tells you one thing: the future of smartphones and computers is moving faster than ever before. Every year these chips become smaller, but the improvements become bigger. Faster apps, better gaming, smarter AI, longer battery life, cooler temperatures, and even more powerful devices that fit right into your pocket. If TSMC stays on schedule, 2028 could become another huge milestone for the tech world. And if Apple really becomes the first company to use these chips, we could see another major jump in iPhone performance. For now, we'll have to wait and see how everything unfolds. But one thing is already clear: the race for the world's most advanced chip is only getting started, and it's becoming more exciting than ever.